Welcome to the Queer God Squad. It's Monday, June 29th, 2026. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral for the Queer God Squad. Joining me today and most days are Bishop Robert Griffin and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by hotspots happening out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world. In 2026, we are celebrating the 41st anniversary of Hotspots magazine with Queer News Tonight, sharing over 14,000 stories and 12 million views so far.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
Please like and share today's story, and if you'd like to support the work of Sunshine Cathedral, visit sunshinecathedral.org.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral Perspective. Queer God Squad applauds SCOTUS upholding constitutional ban on cruel and unusual punishment. The U.S. Supreme Court has denied Alabama's request to proceed with the execution of death row prisoner Jeffery Lee using nitrogen gas. The court's brief, unsigned order leave in place lower court rulings that block the method for citing concerns that it likely violates the constitutional ban on cruel and unusual punishment. Experts testify in a recent trial suggested that nitrogen hypoxia, which causes suffocation via a gas mask, induces severe physical and psychological distress. While Justice Thomas, Alito, and Gorsuch indicated that it would have granted Alabama's request, the majority refused to intervene. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall criticized the decision, labeling it as a miscarriage of justice. Although this specific execution is halted, the state maintains it is prepared to pursue Lee's death sentence through alternative methods.
It's like the Three Musketeers, the three justices that said that they would have approved this cruel, vicious, and violent way to murder somebody. And I said murder. I don't think that it's an execution. When you're using this kind of stuff. And what's happening is that most states are running out of ways to murder people because companies that used to provide them with the medication, quote unquote medication to kill people, are no longer doing that. So they have to become, the states do have to become more and more innovative in ways of finding to kill people. It's disgusting that this conversation still comes up. I am mixed in my feelings about the death penalty in the first place. I think that it's misused way too often, and some would argue that it should never be used.
I'm about to.
Yeah, I know you. That's why I'm couching what I'm saying. But to have ways that deliberately just make people suffer as they're dying. There are cases where other states are using medication that may or may not work, that may take 2 minutes to work, may take an hour to work. And meanwhile, that human being is in that death chamber convulsing, and many times their families are watching this happen. So yeah, cruel and unusual punishment, 100%.
You know, as this being my home state, I have followed this very closely, and I am 100% against the death penalty. And when you look at this from a standpoint of cruel and unusual justice, what you, in essence, have is a state lobbying to kill somebody. I mean, you can't face it. There's no other words to put it. A state is lobbying to kill somebody. And this, it's one of those reminders. And the reason I'm really against the death penalty is because there's evidence that there's been too many people who have been on death row who have later had their cases overturned because of weak evidence, because of no evidence, because somebody lied about somebody being in some place that they never was. And people end up being on death row and are being killed mistakenly. And so I think even if there's a slight chance that has happened, it can happen again. But to truly advocate for a state to kill someone, that just raises really major red flags to me. And And as I think Reverend Dr. Jeff Hood said, if the people who convicted the person to this situation had to be in the room throwing the lever, they would probably think about this a second time, and probably take a different stance on the whole death penalty situation. But it's almost like the guy in the bomber who's 35,000 feet above land dropping bombs. He doesn't see what's happened on the ground, and I think this is kind of a similar situation. They get in a room, they make a decision, oh, let's do it, but they have no idea the long-term effects and or short-term effect it has on the person who's in the chair, or the long-term effects on the people who are in that room watching this happen to a person.
This is another way that people in power control bodies. Because the same people who will fight tooth and nail to defend a fetus, something that does not live apart from its host, and can't live apart from its host for 2/3 of the hosting period, that they are treating that like each and every single one is the baby Jesus. But meanwhile, here are real people that you can see being tortured. And yes, most of them are guilty of something. And they should be kept far away from us. They should get all the counseling and education that might make them be a little bit better human. They should be locked away from the rest of society. So we're not saying, because we always tend to frame these as all or nothing. Like, oh, either you kill them or you don't believe in, safety. And like, that's lie. Most advanced countries no longer have any sort of death penalty. They seem to be rocking along. You can be just without being cruel. You can maintain order without terrorizing people. And as Dr. Hood says, if we know people have been executed who were innocent, and we know that there is an unequal amount of that there are more black people in prison, a bigger percentage of people are in prison than are the percentage of the U.S., and I mean by about 300%. The people who have more money get lighter sentences or softer prisons. The people who don't have access to resources and materials and people, they get harder sentences. People of color are much more likely to be condemned to execution. It's racist. It's unfair. It's not even economical. It costs so much more money to keep someone on death row, with all the appeals. And all the fightings and second chances and countersuits and blah, blah. It costs a fortune to keep people on death row, and they can be on death row for decades. That's torture. Is this the day that I don't exist anymore? And to wake up with that feeling every single day for decades? So yes, I want the bad guys locked up. Yes, I do. And I don't want to give the power of death to the government, because once they get to decide who gets to die, they get to decide whoever gets to die. And it's no longer just now rapists are being executed, and now arsonists are being executed, and now people who disagree with various preachers, their disagreements called a hate crime, and they get to they get a life sentence maybe. Once you give too much power or cede too much power, which has happened, which is why the whole thing is on fire right now. But I don't like the government being able to say when we should go and then choose the most awful way imaginable to do it. And all the while fighting hammer and claw for a petri dish of cells. It doesn't make any sense to me. The other thing that you need to know is that we are guaranteed a jury by our peers. Now you can waive that. You can just have the judge decide, but you're guaranteed you have the right to a jury of your peers. An all-white jury are not the peers of a young black man. If any white person had killed a black person, it was the other way around, and they said it was self-defense, or even I was just afraid that they might be coming for me, stand your ground, blah, blah. That would have been an acceptable offense. But this young black kid, first offense, not even trying to hear it. Now, people argue, oh, well, Jeffery Pierce doesn't mean everyone, your same race or whatever. But when race is an issue, And when you are in a historically and notoriously racist state, to have an all-white jury just tells the world, we wanted this outcome. And so, yeah, the racism and the hypocrisy and the cruelty, I'm not about it. And if people get a life sentence or even 25 years, whatever, and they keep studying and they keep appealing and they may be proven innocent one day. And maybe they get out in 20 or 30 years. Well, that's a lot of their life taken, but that still leaves them some life to live. And I think it's worth the risk to give everyone that chance, just so that the 10 people who really deserve it get it. So yeah, I'm to me, state executions are unacceptable and barbaric, full stop. But especially when they are clearly racially motivated. And that's today with the Queer God Squad. Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about. Please like and share this and other episodes of the Queer God Squad. Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together, and also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.